Good morning, dear students. I'm Professor K. Mageshwari, Department of English, KCS Kasinagar College of Arts and Science. In literary criticism, today we are going to talk about Coleridge Biographia Literaria. Biographia Literaria is a significant work from the Romantic era. It was written by S.T. Coleridge in the year 1817. Actually, it contains 2 volumes by having 23 chapters. And the title of this work may be a misleading one. It's like Johnson's Lives of the Poets. But in fact, it talks about the ideas which are spoken by Wordsworth in his Preface to Lyrical Ballads. In Preface to Lyrical Ballads, Wordsworth talks about the poetic language of his own writing, how a poetic language must be. But here, S.T. Coleridge talks about how he is following his own theory. So, there is exactly in logic why he has written Biographia Literaria. Actually, it is an autobiographical discourse of his own work, which means he wanted to use his own theory, his own poetic theory, for the poems which he was writing. And however, both Coleridge and William Wordsworth were friends for so many years. There was a difference of opinions regarding poetry. So, when they departed as friends, otherwise, when they departed in their own opinion regarding poetry, the viewpoint of them approaching literature also changed. So, according to Wordsworth, the language of poetry must possess the language of prose also. But this was completely disagreed by S.T. Coleridge through his work Biographia Literaria. He says that the language of the poetry cannot be equal to that of prose because any poem should have a meter as well as its own rhythm. But when you take the case of a prose, if the prose has the same language like poetry, there is not much difference between prose and poetry. So, in order to differentiate a prose as well as a poetry, there must be a difference. So, and another thing, he quotes the points which was advocated by both Aristotle as well as Sidney. So, according to Sidney as well as Aristotle, if literature and other works differ in their aims and effects, definitely the poetry also should be different from that of a prose. Because using the same language for poetry as well as for prose, Coleridge considers that as a suicide. Why he calls that as a suicide? In the sense, it any like Emerson said, imitation is a suicide. Using the language of the prose for poetry is definitely like committing suicide. So, for the writers like Ovid and Horace, they had a viewpoint that poetry is meant for complete delight and pleasure. So, if at all you want to derive the pleasure from the poetry, the pleasure or the enjoyment should be derived out only in the language in which it is written. So the language entertains by its fugitive qualities. So the term fugitive qualities, which is used by Coleridge in his work called Biographia Literaria. So fugitive qualities, it is nothing but the language which is created by the imagination of the writer. So the imagination of the writer should reach the reader in the way intended to be the writer. Okay, so this fugitive quality is definitely the source of aesthetic essence. So this aesthetic essence is the output of literature, especially the output of poetry. Again, so with this we can end up with Biographia and Literaria. From Biographia and Literaria, the influence is derived out by Shelley through his work A Defense of Poetry. He insisted the point called aesthetic effect. So, what do you mean by its aesthetic effect? Admiring the beauty wherever it is. So, now he wants to point out the defamiliarization. So, defamiliarization, it is nothing but how the writer looks at his own writer not as a writer but being a reader. So that he makes a point, the poetry compels us to feel that which we perceive and to imagine that which we know. So the language of the poetry is very much essential to have the feel what it is expecting from the reader. And the inspiration continues from Shelley to T.S. Eliot. Look at the look at the order in literary criticism. First, we have seen about Aristotle, and it was followed by Sidney and Samuel Johnson. Next to Samuel Johnson, there was a little bit of time gap, otherwise duration. And during the Romantic period, we have seen William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, and Shelley. And in the next scenario, we are going to see about T.S. Coleridge. So, from the aesthetic effect, which was derived out of Biographia Literaria, is followed in the form of defamiliarization through the works of Shelley's Defense of Poetry, and now it is following through the works of traditional and individual talent, which was written by T.S. Eliot. And in traditional and individual talent, T.S. Eliot, it was written in 1919. He talks about the distinction between the writer and the author, whom he calls as an author, the person who writes any work. It may be of a literary work or of a critical work. Whom does he call? Whom does he call as a writer? A writer, a person who is in the work. So, author, a person who is behind the work. So, when the relationship is wider between these two, which means between the author and the writer, the expression of the work, otherwise the output of the work, will be a greater one. So the writer should be able to differentiate himself, otherwise he should be able to detach himself from his own writing. So once a writer should possess the difference between author and the writer, otherwise a person behind the writing, otherwise a person who is inside the work, the result may be of a greater one.